Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best board games in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review, and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below. Number 9. Days of Wonder Memoir 44. The two-player Days of Wonder's Memoir 44 war game brings some of the reality of war to life with 17 historical battle scenarios taken directly from World War II that mimic the exact terrain, troop placement, and objectives that each military power faced in battle. The goal of the game is to lead your army in successfully winning the battle against the opposing player, taking advantage of power-specific bonuses, and overcoming power-specific shortcomings to emerge the victor. Memoir 44 is both a war and a strategic area control board game with dice rolling mechanics for waging battles and command cards for unique tactics and troop movements. The game takes between 30 to 60 minutes to play, but every round is a new head-to-head challenge that's both enjoyable and that at least starts as historically accurate before you manage to win a war that was actually lost. This game isn't as complicated as some war/area control games, but it takes some time for players to read and understand the rules. Number 8. Hasbro The Game of Life board game. The Game of Life doesn't use dice like a traditional roll-and-move board game. Instead, it uses a numbered spinner that indicates how many spaces through life each player advances on their turn. 2 to 4 players proceed through all the important moments in life, including finding a job, going to college, buying insurance, getting married, purchasing a house, and having children. The goal of the game is to amass more collective wealth than the other players by the time everyone reaches retirement. Players can reach this goal through wise investments or choosing a beneficial career, but sometimes it's simply the luck of the roll of the dice. The Game of Life is easy to learn and simple to play, making it a great option for family game nights that include younger children. Great family game. Do you remember playing this classic Hasbro board game from your childhood? With instant setup and easy play, this exclusive edition is great fun to play when the family is together. Life is full of adventures. This edition of the Game of Life game includes 115 cards offering exciting choices as players move through the twists and turns of life. Number 7. Days of Wonder Ticket to Ride board game. Not all area control games rely on aggressive battles and warlike takeovers to claim parts of the board. Days of Wonder's Ticket to Ride encourages players to claim portions of track to complete routes between different cities and build up more points than the other players. The color-coded cards match the various track colors, prompting players to exchange red cards for red sections of track, blue cards for blue sections, and more. Wild cards can help players take over longer stretches of track without waiting to collect 5 or 6 cards of one color. Gameplay is relatively simple, making this game ideal for kids and adults, but the numerous route options and intersecting stretches of track also encourage replayability. The game takes only about 30 to 60 minutes to play, and multiple expansions are available. However, the design of the board and cards is somewhat plain. Number 6. Cephalofair Games Gloomhaven. If D&D seems too complicated, Gloomhaven offers a similar cooperative campaign experience with less complex mechanics, making it easier to learn, understand, and enjoy. This board game is designed to be played by 1 to 4 players, with each additional player adding about 30 minutes to the expected playing time. Players can select one of 17 playable classes as they start their adventure as a mercenary on the edge of civilization. Use the game's card system to battle automated monsters as the party moves through a constantly evolving fantasy world that changes based on the player's actions. The visually appealing card art and figures help immerse players in this world, but be sure to take time before beginning to carefully read and understand how the game works to avoid confusion as the game unfolds. The complexity of this game makes it ideal for adults, but most kids would struggle with the mechanics. Gloomhaven is a game of Euro-inspired tactical combat board game in a persistent world of shifting motives. Players will take on the role of a wandering adventurer with their own special set of skills and their own reasons for traveling to this dark corner of the world. Players must work together out of necessity to clear out menacing dungeons and forgotten ruins. In the process, they will enhance their abilities with experience and loot, discover new locations to explore and plunder, and expand an ever-branching story fueled by the decisions they make. This is a legacy game with a persistent and changing world that is ideally played over many game sessions. After a scenario, players will make decisions on what to do, which will determine how the story continues, kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure book. Number 5. Catan Studio Catan Board Game. Engine builder board games focus on creating a system or an engine to produce resources for creating a civilization or building up the group you control. Catan Studios Catan, one of the most well-liked engine builder games, is also known as Settlers of Catan and has multiple expansion options, allowing the maximum number of players to increase from 4 to 6. Additional tiles and events help increase the difficulty of the game. Catan is a relatively easy game for teens and adults to learn, and it takes about an hour to play with 3 or 4 players competing for victory points by acquiring resources, including grain, wool, ore, brick, and lumber. These resources can be used to build roads, settlements, and cities or to buy development cards. However, the robber can steal your resources and change the course of the game, ensuring that all players have a chance to win. Strategy game, trade, build, and settle the island of Catan in this addictively fun strategy game previously called Settlers of Catan. Players control their own civilization and look to spread across a modular hex board in a competition for victory points. Fun game with countless replay opportunities, the completely variable board provides great value through nearly limitless replayability. You will never have to play the same game twice. Looking for new adventures? Try Catan Expansions. Note, expansions require Catan base game to play. Number 4. Hasbro Avalon Hill Risk Legacy Game. The classic game of Risk has had several new variations over the years, but the success of Hasbro's Risk Legacy remains unmatched since the company launched the campaign/legacy board game genre in 2011. In Risk Legacy, the basic fight mechanics of Risk remain the same, with players using 2 sets of dice to battle for territories. However, after players complete the first round, the game includes instructions for permanent changes, positive or negative, that must take place and remain in effect until otherwise noted. Risk Legacy allows 3 to 5 players to take control of one of 5 factions, each of which has its own bonuses. Winning the game delivers benefits that are revealed as you play, such as earning the chance to name a continent or found a major city. Just be certain of your choices. A decision in the first game could come back to haunt you in the 10th game. Number 3. Classic Game Collection Metal Chess Set. Chess is easily one of the most popular, versatile, and challenging board games in the abstract game genre. The simple instructions, straightforward piece movements, and easy-to-follow rules allow just about anyone, even young children, to pick up this game without a lot of difficulty. However, its increasing complexity can quickly separate beginners from experts, as demonstrated by the global ranking system for true geniuses of the game. Depending on the skill level of the players and the strategies they employ, playing a game of chess can take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours, though most games take about 30 to 60 minutes. Chess is played with just 2 players at a time, though variations of the game can involve more players. This chess set includes a crafted wooden playing board and intricate metal chess pieces that store inside the game board when not in use. Number 2. Ares Games War of the Ring 2nd Edition. In Ares Games War of the Ring, 2 or 4 players separate into the Free Peoples of Middle-earth and the Shadow Forces. The goal is to take control of Middle-earth from the opposing players. The Free Peoples can win by either amassing 4 victory points through battles and conquest, or by moving the Fellowship across the board so the ring can be destroyed. The Shadow Forces must earn 10 victory points or fully corrupt the ring bearer. It sounds simple enough, but with 5 combat dice, 16 action dice, 76 counters, 110 event and character cards, and 204 plastic figures, this game is anything but straightforward. The instructions are not the most complicated for an area control game, but they aren't easy to understand either. Expect to spend some time reading and bringing all players to the same or a similar level of understanding before diving in for a 2-hour round. Number 1. Z-Man Games Pandemic Board Game. Pandemic from Z-Man Games is an exciting board game that aligns the entire game night group on the same side because players must work quickly against multiple encroaching diseases as well as the global changes in the economy, diplomacy, and travel that are caused by a worldwide pandemic. The cooperative nature of the game is an asset if one extremely competitive player usually creates uncomfortable situations in head-to-head board games. In this game, 2 to 4 players assume specific roles that come with individual bonuses. For example, the scientist role can cure diseases faster than any other player, while an operations specialist builds research stations to find cures. Each round requires about 45 minutes to play. If it becomes too simple, adapt the game with additional epidemic cards to increase the difficulty.